Hey guys, John B here from Phone Arena. Right now I'm doing a first look between the LG G2 and the HTC One. Of course, respective flagship devices for 2013 for each company. Gonna quickly just compare the two, what we can here. Let's start off with the design. Now, not surprisingly, I'd probably go with the HTC One just because it has that more premium element. Some people like that, just has that sturdier feel to it in the hand. Whereas with the LG G2, it's plasticky, a little bit of hollowness to it. Doesn't have that sturdy construction like the HTC One. And it's a little bit more prone to smudges just because of the glossy finish. But the difference, the benefit in having the plastics, of course, it's lighter. Definitely notice the difference in in weight between the two. The HTC One is a little bit heavier. Now, in terms of size, it's really impressive what LG has done. For a device packing a 5.2-inch display versus the smaller 4.7-inch display of the HTC One, they managed to be almost identical. So it doesn't feel like you're holding a 5.2-inch display in your hands with the LG G2. It's pretty much on the same page as the HTC One. Now, the way they did that is because they managed to minimize the bezels around the display. Let's see if I turn this guy on here. So if we look closely, it's kind of hard to see, but you see a bigger gap between the HTC One versus the LG G2. And when you have it on both sides, it really does add up. So that's why it's still the LG G2 feels as wide as the HTC One when you hold it in the hand, which is great. Aside from that, button placements, again, different from both. You have the power button on top on the HTC One versus it being in the back on the LG G2. As far as cameras are concerned, it's an ultra-pixel camera on the HTC One versus a 13-megapixel one in the LG Optimus G2. They have their strengths, touted for their low lighting performance, but this one here with the LG G2 features optical image stabilization will definitely help in those situations. Let's talk about the display here. That's the other big difference. You have a large 5.2-inch true full HD IPS display on the G2 versus a smaller 4.7-inch Super LCD 3 display on the HTC One. Both at 1080p. Honestly, you're not going to notice the difference in detail. Very sharp. Also, very natural color reproduction. You get a little bit more of a whitish color when you tilt it to the sides with the HTC One, but still nice with both. Good viewing angles, and outdoor visibility would assume to be pretty much on the same page to one another. The other thing here is just the processor, the speeds. You're going to get a quad-core processor in both, but of course the LG G2 being the newer device benefits from having the newer Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 chipset, which is pretty nice. It's clocking 2.26 gigahertz, which is pretty impressive considering that it is just running like a beast. And we could just see that from just quickly moving, just doing simple things. It's just very snappy on the LG G2. And of course, it comes down to their experiences. They both have their different approach. We'll give the HTC One with Sense a little bit more that visual flair, especially with Blink Field on the home screen. It'll aggregate all that content directly for you. The LG G2 has its own custom interface too. Some new features, for example, the new Q-Slide function where you can actually instantly access a bunch of different up to 3 apps simultaneously at any time by doing a swipe right movement. And just some other cool features that make them very unique to one another. So that's a quick look between these two handsets, guys. If you want to learn more about them, you can check out our website, phonearena.com. John B. Thanks for watching.